There are several special features that will adorn the front of our project house, and one of them is the porch. This happens to be just a section of the porch roof. I've never seen anything like this before. This outer edge on the side is straight and the front is straight, but everything else is curved, including this hip rafter and all the other rafters. Now, if we had to cut these pieces by hand, it would take forever. But today we're at a shop that cuts these easily. And at the heart of this operation is a computer. Peter Murray is the owner of this shop. Hi, Peter.
Norman, how are you?
Good. Now, I see here that you have a 3D drawing of our project, and we just looked at this section of the roof. But now you see the whole thing, and there are a lot of curved parts in this. So how do you go from this to actually making the pieces?
After we have the shop drawings approved, we take each individual rafter, we lay them out on a 4x8 sheet of plywood on the computer, and we transfer that to our programmer Ryan, who applies the tool path for the CNC on the shop floor, which cuts the components.
Right, so the CNC is actually a machine that does the cutting, but it's controlled by the computer.
That is correct. And if you walk over to the screen here, you will see an advanced simulation of the sheets actually being cut. The blank space represents the 4x8 sheet of plywood, and you can see the each individual component being cut.
All right, so this is not just a layout, this is actually a simulation of the machine cutting it, and I can see that you waste very little material.
That is correct.
All right, I want to see the real thing though.
Let's go out on the shop.
All right.
The first part of the operation is to make the curved hip rafter. This here is one of the curved hip rafters that has already been fabricated. It's made of 2 layers of 3/4 inch plywood.
All right, and I imagine you need a form and a vacuum bag.
That is correct, and the vacuum table is over here with the form already in it. The form is right here with 2 sheets of 3/4 inch plywood that are going to be glued together, that are going to be vacuumed down to the form to create the curve. Okay, let's close it up. It is now pulling the plywood onto the curved form.
Here you see it bending. Wow, look at that. 2 pieces of plywood are squeezed right together and tight to the form. What would we do without vacuum bags?
It would be very difficult without the vacuum bag.
Let's see some cutting.
Let's go to the machine. So we're over here at the CNC, which is about to cut the rafters for the roof.
Wow, this is one big machine. Now, CNC stands for Computer Numeric Control, and that's the magic that makes this happen.
That is correct. Right here we have the sheet that you saw previously on the advanced simulation. It's an 1.5 inch sheet of plywood, which we are about to cut the common rafters and the jack rafters out of. Over here, we have the curved hip rafter, which you previously saw being vacuum bagged. This right here is a form. We transfer the form over onto the CNC so that the material stays stable on it and doesn't compress.
All right.
Over here we have Ryan. Ryan has a handheld controller, which he uses to control the speed of the cutters and control the speed of the machine. The machine has 48 different cutters, which allows Ryan to pick and choose whichever cutter he wants to use for the operation.
That's amazing. So it looks like we cut about 9 rafters. And how long?
20 minutes.
Wow, that's amazing. Look at this. Perfectly arched. You know, if I had to make these by hand, I would have to make templates. I would have to rough cut the material, and never mind gluing it up, and then I would have to fine tune it. That would take days.
That is correct.
So this really does save a lot of time, and it's more accurate. Now I understand you're making some decorative brackets for the front of our house?
That is correct. We're making them on another machine on the other side of the shop. This is the last part of one of the decorative brackets that goes underneath that roof that we saw earlier. The difference between this machine and the machine we just saw is it has a higher cutting capacity. And we need that when we're cutting the bracket. We need to elevate it off the table so that the 5-axis head can cut the tenons on the edge of the bracket.
So actually the cutter head is sideways and you're cutting the shape of the bracket.
Yes, the cutter head is 90 degrees to the bracket.
So you have the other 2 pieces of the bracket right here.
Yes, let's dry fit it and see if it's going to work.
Oh, perfect fit.
Yes, just a little bit of cleanup on the edges and we're all done.
Peter, these are going to look great on our house. Thanks for all your hard work.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for watching. This Old House has got a video for just about every home improvement project, so be sure to check out the others. And if you like what you see, click on the subscribe button to make sure that you get our newest videos right in your feed.